Hello. I never know when it starts. Yeah. It's just because our screen doesn't change, so it's always very, very weird. But hello, welcome to our live stream where we're going to be trying chapters of books for our Roll of Reads Readathon TBR, which is very exciting. I'm Kim. This is my channel, and Amy, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Amy from AStar Reads, and this is Kim's channel. Oh wait, you're on this way.
Yeah. Which way are we? Oh yeah, because it's opposite. That's confusing.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, the plan is to go through our TBR for Roll of Reads Readathon, which is run by Mel from a book Fiend named Mel, and yeah, basically try out some chapters. We've already tried out 4 of the books, so we're going to chat about those first, and then we're going to do like 4 20-minute sprints, I think.
That's what you said.
Yeah. To read the other books. So if anybody wants to join in with whatever you guys are reading as well, we'd love to hear about those books too. So you don't have to be like trying chapters or anything like that. Just read whatever you want or do whatever you want, and we'll chat about it in between.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to go onto comments. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So should we start through a list of ones that we've already been through?
Yes.
Oh, Jean says hello. Hi, Jean.
Hi, Jean. Welcome. It's good to see you.
Right, so one of the prompts that we rolled for was for nonfiction. So that's the first one we're going to talk about. So what did you read for that, Amy?
Okay, so I told you that I kind of was going to cheat at first, and I was going to like try a chapter of a book that I already have to read in March anyways, and I was like, okay, that's cheating, because then I would probably end up picking that even if I wasn't enjoying that first chapter, because I know that I have to read it. So I was like, okay, now let's actually pick a book off my shelf. So I'm trying to get through some of the books that are like older on my shelves that I've never had a chance to read, and I feel like I either need to try them and read them at some point, or I should start unhauling books, because I have some really old ones that I'm just a lot less interested in reading. So anyways, that was a long segue into saying that I tried a chapter of Gorge by Kara Richardson Whitley. This is my journey up Kilimanjaro at 300 pounds. So she's a plus size woman who apparently has climbed Kilimanjaro 3 times. The first time she had lost a bunch of weight, and so she climbed it then. And then the second time she climbed it, she had a child. She had gained weight back, and she was hoping to use it as like a motivator to again lose weight. And then I haven't got to the point where we're talking about her 3rd time around. So it's just, and it's interesting. She's very self-deprecating with the weight stuff, which to me is a little frustrating. Like, and I understand being a plus size person, I understand where our mentality goes sometimes, but like it's extensive so far. And I'm kind of like, why are you talking about yourself the way media talks about us? Like,
right. Yeah. Because is she saying that she has to lose weight in order to be able to achieve these things in her head? Is that what?
No, it's more like the way she describes herself. Like my waist is 3 feet wide, and and I'm like, there's a lot of that, a lot of like just the way she's describing herself, the way she's describing some of her eating habits and stuff like that. And granted, everybody's experience is different being a plus size person, but I'm just like, I don't actually identify with her in some of the things she's saying. And so I'm kind of like, am I going to be just frustrated with her the whole time in this book?
Yeah.
Or am I going to really feel inspired? Because that's kind of why I wanted to read this. I know Mom had read this and she did like it. So like, I have it. It's not a very long one. I feel like I should read it. I did a hike up Mount Whitney when I had lost a ton of weight, and I had lost like 100 pounds, and I was in the best shape of my life. I was really ready for the hike, but at within the last mile of the top, I got such bad altitude sickness that I had to stop, or else I was gonna get. I was so sick that I could barely move, and so. But I hold a lot of like failure feelings about that one hike. And so part of me really wants to go back and do it with like some altitude sickness pills or something like that. And so I was like, maybe something like this will help inspire me to feel ready to do it again. And I don't know, so far I just feel like she's being very really negative.
Yeah. Because I suppose if she's talking like that at the beginning, but then she's telling her story, so she's already started off like that, isn't she? So it's not like she might progress and start changing the way she's talking about herself. So
that's what I'm a little worried about.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, this may not be the choice for this month. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But it's cool though. I mean, it's such a massive achievement as well. Like,
yeah, oh yeah.
It's a shame
especially
to, like, be so down on yourself.
Say that again.
It's just a shame that she's so like focusing on the negative things about herself when it's like all about this big accomplishment stuff, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It just, and the way she talks about herself to me feels like the way you hear other people talking about plus size women in a negative way. Not necessarily how you would want to portray yourself, but you know, I also know that the turtle mind can be pretty cruel. So
that's the thing. It definitely seeps in though, doesn't it? Like the way that you hear yourself talked about, then it takes an effort to be like, no, actually, I'm like this and that's fine. You don't have to like say anything in a negative way because it's not a negative thing. But it is difficult to kind of get over that, isn't it? When you hear it constantly. So I totally understand.
Yeah. So I guess that's why I'm kind of like, I don't know yet. And, you know, I should preface all of this by saying that I'm not the best person at starting books. Like I really like books when I get into them, but most of the time when I first start reading a book, it's hard for me to get into it in the beginning. Like I have to change my mindset. So I'm very curious to try this. I've never done this before with the try a chapter because usually it takes me a while to get in a book anyways. So I'm curious, like, which books will actually pique my interest right at the beginning.
Yeah, that's really interesting, actually, because when I read the 4 today, I said to my partner, I'm so bad with this because I love everything straight away. So it's like, and it's only when I get further in, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not so keen. But most stuff, I'm like, oh, yeah, I love this straight away. And then, like, won over by everything. That's like funny. It's the opposite way around.
Yeah, that is funny.
I'm just gonna say
Shell. Hey, Shell.
And Amy's here.
Welcome.
How you doing?
Yeah. It sounds that's how the first chapter has started out. It's very, very self-shaming. So I'm kind of like, eesh, you know, is she gonna take a positive turn? I hope.
Yeah. I ended up reading the first part of The Selfish Gene.
Yeah, I'm very curious.
I loved it. Like I just said, like straight off the bat. This is because I was saying when I picked it that I was worried about this because I know Richard Dawkins has very strong opinions and everything I've heard is like he just shuts people down and says, no, you're wrong, I'm right. You know, you got to, you know, was my impression of him. And Amy, did you say Shell read Richard Dawkins?
I don't know if she read The Selfish Gene, but I know that, and I'm glad Shell's here because Shell and I had a conversation about this because I had kind of taken Dawkins off of my TBRs because I was like, I just don't want to deal with the controversy surrounding him. But then Shell was like, I did a lot of research on him and a lot of it is more, you know, he said things tongue in cheek or the things he said were misconstrued. And so even though people said, oh, well, he has said this thing, it was more like how they phrased what he had said. And so I'm like, yeah, I should really look into research, you know, his opinions and the things that have been said about him more than just saying, oh, I'm just not going to read him because, you know, it's hard with BookTube and in general, when you're an influencer, you want to be very careful about what you're talking about when it comes to books and make sure that you do your proper research because there are plenty of controversial authors out there that don't deserve the praise. So like, it's such a tricky, that's such a tricky subject.
It is a tricky subject because like you say, until you know like the whole story, you've done the research yourself, you don't know what's true and what's not true about stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I read the little intro because this was written in like the 70s or something. And so I read the first intro that he wrote and then I only got to page 3. So I didn't read very much. Also some notes at the back. He does go on a bit at the back, which was kind of notes from later years, like in the 80s and stuff. He's writing, you know, so it's such an old book that he's reflected on it time and time again, which was interesting anyway. But this book is essentially about him talking about evolution. You're a biologist, Amy, right? So you know like all about
I got my degree in evolutionary biology, actually. So.
Did you? That's so cool.
That was my focus.
That's so cool. So he was saying that when some people that he was talking about were writing about evolution, that they were kind of talking about people evolving to what's the word, like kind of it was natural for them to protect the species. But he was like, no, you've got that wrong. It's like you're protecting the individual. It's like your genes have evolved to protect yourself, and so any kind of generousness you have to put to others, it's always selfish. And it just reminded me of that Friends episode with Joey saying to Phoebe that there's no unselfish good deed you can do, and Phoebe's like, there is, and then she just can't find one. I feel like it's like
that's sad.
yeah, like that exact thing. And yeah, and it was just really interesting. And I think he was just saying it's been taken out of context for him, because some people thought that he was saying he was promoting selfishness and saying, well, we've evolved to be selfish, so it's fine, we can be selfish. And he was like, no, I'm saying it's our natural instinct to be selfish, but we need to fight against that. We can acknowledge that, and we can work to be less like that. So he kind of won me over with his little notes on that, saying, no, this has been taken out of context. I don't mean it like this. This is nature, but I don't like that nature, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. And I didn't want to put it down, to be honest. I nearly didn't put it down. But yeah, so this is like a high contender with me carrying on reading it in March.
I'm intrigued. I want you to read it now, just so I can hear your comments and thoughts.
Yeah, it seems really interesting. I just look at the comments. Oh, the God Delusion. I have that too as well, actually, but I haven't read that either. So, yeah,
Shell. That was the one she read recently.
Sport Freakers. No.
There's no one.
Yes. It's so true. So was the God Delusion good, Shell? Did you enjoy it? Although you said you loved Dawkins, so you must have enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't know if she's read I don't think she's read anything else by Dawkins, but I'm not positive. I'm more on the science end of things. Shell tends to be more interested in the philosophical side of things, so I think that's why she's really interested in the God Delusion. Yeah, I do really want to get to that as well, but I was more cautious about that one because of all the things I'd heard about him than even the selfish gene. But yeah, it's cool. So the next prompt that we got was to read a book set on an island. Yes.
So what did you choose for this one?
So I chose Anne of Green Gables by Ella Montgomery. Cool. Have you ever read Anne of Green Gables?
No, I watched Anne with an E.
Okay.
Does that count? Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Well, it's really good. I like the series. However, some of the acting is a little, in my opinion. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer because there's this show that I want to watch right now, and I'm sorry, I'm talking. But the acting, I couldn't get past the first episode, and I'm like, it's supposed to be really popular. And, oh well. Yes, back to this. I read the first chapter of Anne of Green Gables. It was interesting because it's you can tell that there are elements to it that are dated. The way, some of the language that is used, I didn't come across anything too horrifying, but there were definitely moments that I was like, oh yeah, this is not what you would say nowadays. Yeah. But I can already tell that I'm going to like the character development of this because the first chapter, you're getting this really funny look at the neighbors of the neighbor lady of Anne of Green Gables. Yeah. And she's funny. Like she's hilarious. Like I have a total picture of her in my mind. And so
is she like the busybody one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's a good character.
So it's not a very long chapter, but it was enough that I'm interested. And it's, the setting is set really well. I feel like it's not overly flowery in the writing, but it's also, I have a good idea of what I can picture of this place. And it's set on Prince Edward Island. So there's my
very good.
Yeah. So I can tell I'm gonna enjoy this, and I think that if I already liked the characters in that first little section, even though the busybody neighbors are not the main character, I think that I will like how Ella Montgomery creates characters.
Yeah. I mean, they are good. They are. I think you would like Anne with an E a lot. I know I just slammed the acting, but I really only mean one person. Yeah, I do really want to read it because everyone who reads it loves that book. So I have high hopes for it.
I have known a couple people that haven't. So
really?
Yeah, there are a few. There are a few that aren't so crazy about it, but I don't think I've heard anybody hate it.
It can't be everyone's cup of tea, though, can it?
No.
Following like a young girl. But also, I love Canada, so.
So there you go.
Anything set in Canada, I already like it before I start.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country. What's your island book?
So I picked Robinson Crusoe.
Oh, yes, I forgot.
And I picked this because I know you said you weren't keen on it. So I wanted to start it. Okay, so I read not very much of it, but it was basically Robinson Crusoe talking about when he was 18 and how he really wanted to go off to sea and go on boats and everything like that. And his dad was like, absolutely not. You don't understand what good life you have. We're mediocre. We have medium riches. If we're really rich, we have problems. If we're really poor, we have problems. This is the good sweet spot. Like, don't mess it up by going off. And then obviously it just ends up leaving anyway. That happens very quickly, so that's not a spoiler. Plus, we know that he goes off. But yeah, initially, because it was written in like released in 1719, but it's set in the 1650s. And when I first started reading it, I felt like it was going on and on and on. The same thing. Like they'd made its point about being mediocre is better than being anything else. And then it made it again, and then it made it again, and then it made it again. And I was like, But then once it moved on from that, I thought, did it keep making the same point because it was like the dad nagging him? Do you know what I mean? So I was like, is that on purpose? I don't know. So then I thought, oh, maybe that's quite interesting. And I liked the way it read, to be honest. So far, I was quite interested. I liked the style of writing.
Yeah.
As I was reading it. So I don't know what you didn't like about it. I'm interested to know.
Oh, well, I don't remember disliking the writing on that one. Like, if I think about the two island books that I hated the most, Lord of the Flies and Robinson Crusoe. Lord of the Flies, I didn't like the writing style at all. Okay. I don't think I remember not liking the writing style of Robinson Crusoe. It was just so ridiculous in a lot of ways. Like, you won't know that until you get to Robinson Crusoe's life on the island, you know? Like, and let me see. I'm going to see if I can find what I wrote about it, because I'm curious.
Oh, yes.
It was a while ago that it was probably terrible because I wasn't writing art reviews very well back when I was, but I'm trying to remember how long ago it was I read it, and yeah, I gave it 1 star. Oof. Okay, so I read it in 2013. Okay, so that's quite a few years ago, almost 10 years ago, and I said, this book was just I can easily say that I never formed an attachment to Robinson Crusoe, and in fact, most of the time I just wanted to smack him. Granted, I realized this was written in a completely different social era than that which we live now, but even Crusoe's ignorance wasn't interesting. Crusoe may have been very unlucky on a boat, but he had the coziest shipwreck life I have ever read about. This just isn't my cup of tea. I finished it simply because I hate not finishing books. I
mean, yeah. So he has a cushy life. You're like, I don't buy this.
I mean, I hope that's not too spoilery. I mean, it all depends on people's perspective, because that didn't give anything away, really. But so that was my review of.
I think you were like fairly nice about it, to be fair. Not my cup of tea. 1 star.
Well, people are so cruel on Goodreads. I don't want to encourage any of those people.
That's fair. I never write reviews because I always overthink it. But Lord of the Flies traumatized you. I haven't read Lord of the Flies either. I haven't read many kind of classic-y books.
Lord of the Flies is worse than Robinson Crusoe. I think or at least in my opinion. A lot of people love Lord of the Flies, though. So, but for me, I would rather read Robinson Crusoe. If I was stuck on an island and I had to choose between Robinson Crusoe and Lord of the Flies, Robinson Crusoe any day.
Yeah, because Lord of the Flies is just brutal, right? Is that?
And they're kids. They're little kids, and I couldn't stand any of the characters.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was not
I'm
good.
Intrigued now. Maybe I need to try that one as well.
I mean, people love it, so obviously, It could be for you.
Hello.
Hello.
Amy said Robinson Crusoe. I love Flowers of Algernon.
I've never read that actually. I
Yeah,
remember him reading. What was it about?
It's about, okay, I read this a few years ago now, so watch me say it wrong. But it's about a guy who becomes very, I don't want to say things spoilers. Algernon's a mouse. I think. It's a good book. It's written in diary form. What can I say, Amy, that's not spoilerish? Let's ask Amy. I'm scared I'm going to say something
Amy,
that's a spoiler. Lord of the Flies also in high school.
Yes, it is a very symbolic book. And then a similar type of symbolism, I much preferred Gulliver's Travels. So like similar concepts when it comes to symbolism, I would rather read that any day. Because I love Gulliver's Travels. Except, so there's 4 stories in Gulliver's Travels. I loved the first, the second, and the fourth. The third one, or it's not a story, but the third section, they could have just left out completely. It would have been a much better book.
Okay.
But what I think
did have it, but I wasn't sure if it was set on an island because I nearly picked that. Was there an island in that book? No.
There is an island in the book, but it's not like completely set on an island. It would work, but there isn't. It's not like the whole time.
Yeah. I can't remember what that's referring to now.
Oh, I can't either. That's a good one.
Have you read The Jungle? No, I haven't read anything. How am I booktuber?
That's another very symbolic book.
The Jungle. I haven't even heard of it. Oh, shame. Hey.
Hello. Welcome.
All the
water I've seen is running.
I haven't heard of that one.
Heard of that.
Surprisingly, I haven't heard of it. We are going to be running some sprints shortly. We're just going through some books that we've read, and then we will be starting his sprint. About a cognitive challenge. Yeah. Who undergoes a surgery to become 10 times smarter after Algernon successfully goes through the surgery. Yes. Yeah. That was what I was going to say, but a lot less well explained.
Algernon is the mouse, or you said the mouse? Okay. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good book, definitely.
That's terrible.
That's amazing.
that is a nightmare.
Did you tell them when you went to school?
Oh yeah. Don't tell them anything. They might get the idea. Like, oh, this is a good idea.
Yeah, true. Before we move on from Robinson Crusoe, I was just gonna say, this is completely a bit off topic, kind of, but when his dad is like talking to him and he's like trying to convince him not to go, he's crying when he's doing this, like, and he's like weeping, whatever. And I thought to myself, when did this like toxic masculinity thing where men can't cry happen? Because I feel like I've read quite a few old books where men cry openly. So is this like, do you know, is this like a new thing? I don't know. Like, it just seems weird how in books it's fine, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's actually a very good question, because was that true? I mean, it may have been true in books, but was it true in life? Like,
yeah.
And in what situations? What are the scenarios in the books? Because, like, if you think about it, like, in situations where your family's going off and leaving you forever, you're never going to see them, or likely never going to see them again, or you're not going to see them for a long time. Maybe it's different and it's more acceptable to be crying in those kind of situations.
Like desperation kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's not like they had Skype back then, so they're literally saying goodbye forever. Yeah, it's true. Context is probably the thing.
I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. Yeah.
Right. So the next one is what was it? Booktuber's favorite.
Yes, the booktuber's favorite. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I actually did go with a book that's on my 5-star predictions, because if I don't have plans to include it in my TBR in March, but if I could get it in, that'd be great, because then I'm, checking off another 5-star prediction. So I picked The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett.
Yes, I really want to read that. Yeah,
because a lot of booktubers have loved this a few years ago, but it's been booktuber favorites, and This is so far what I've gotten to, and I didn't finish the first chapter because it's like 30 pages and I ran out of time. So I read like the first maybe 20 pages or so. And at this point, there are these twin sisters and they're in this. So what I didn't realize about this book is that it starts in this town that was created because all the people that live there are white passing. So they're all Black people, but they're all very light colored skin, and they marry light colored skin Black people, and they wanted to keep this community to be light skinned. And so they're actually very judgmental about people who have darker skin, and they revere the Black people specifically who have lighter skin within the community. And there are these twins that one of them wants to like go off and become a movie star, and the other just wants to be educated, and she really is smart. So we're at that point, and these twins leave the town when they're like 16. Okay. And then we're kind of going further. So, and I, like I have kind of read the synopsis of this a little bit, but I didn't really know what had happened. And so I was interested to hear that was the setting. Yeah. The setting was this community that was created to be a white passing Black community. I thought that was really interesting, and it's going to bring up a lot of interesting conversations around race, I think. So it's good so far. Like, it's exactly kind of what I thought it would be, and I'm liking the writing so far. It's very easy to get into, and I can tell that like at this point I don't have any strong feelings about these characters because it's too soon, but I think that I'm going to, as I start to get to know them a little better, I'm going to like it more and more and more. Yeah. So it's hard because like I can, this is one of those ones where I read the first part and I can see that there is potential for me to want to like it more. But was the very first part the most amazing of all the ones I'm going to read today? That's what I'm not sure about.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, because some start off with a bang, don't they? But then others just like slowly ease you in. Yeah. And one of the books I read, I feel the same, actually. I feel like the potential is huge, but it's just easing you in. But so you follow their children as well, right?
Yeah, we haven't even got to, or we do see one of the girls come back and she has a child with her, but I don't think that's spoilery because he says that in the very first page or something like that. Okay. But, yeah. So like these girls had gone off, and then now they're back like 12 years later, 14 years later. Well, one of them's back with a kid. That's all we know. Okay. And so, it's like, I wouldn't expect a book like this, the first chapter, to be incredibly compelling, because this is a adult fiction. This is more of a literary fiction. They tend to grow, you tend to get to know the characters. So, but it's one of my 5-star predictions. So I have a feeling I'm going to love it.
Yeah, I feel the same. I can't wait to get to that one.
So tell me about yours.
I'm just going to check through the comments first quickly. Just going to dog and read. I really want to read Uprooted as well.
Me too.
Got about 100 pages. Sorry, we will get on with sprint soon, guys. I promise. Scenario I was talking about is
having to choose between Robinson Crusoe and Lord of the Flies. That's a very likely scenario. You're right, Amy. Can you imagine? What a nightmare.
You could like rewrite them how you want them to be written in the sand while you're there. Just recreate.
That's exciting.
So we're doing like a try chapter thing for the Roll of Reads Readathon, which is run by Mel from a book fiend named Mel. So we've picked 8 books for our TBR, and we're just trying to prioritize because we can't read all 8 in the month of March. So we're going to be doing like 4 20-minute sprints reading different books. So and
we've already read 4 so far that we're talking about before we start our sprints.
Yeah, sorry. I feel like we need to speed it up a bit. I'm sorry. No. Okay, I will be alternating between Tower of Dogs. Okay. And feedback audio by Mira Grant. I've heard of Mira Grant. Is that Sean McGuire? Yes. Okay. Oh, that's from Middle Game, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like Mira Grant is maybe part of Middle Game. Yeah. The Vanishing Half. I love that cover as well. It's so stunning.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. For Workbook Club, it gave us lots of discussion. I really liked it. Yeah. and it's the kind of book that I know I would enjoy. So that's why I'm like, is it fair to put it on this? But
Yeah. Of course.
hey, Natalie, welcome.
Yay. Why are we doing The Vanishing? Oh, some mushy vampire romance. Nice. Love it.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, it was my idea. It was Kim's idea.
So, okay, my one. What are we talking about? Okay, so booktuber favorite.
Yeah.
I ended up reading one of Milena Reed's favorite books from 2021, which was Half a Lifelong Romance. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten the name of the author. Eileen Chang. So this book is set in 1930s Shanghai, and it's a bit of a romance book. And this is actually kind of what you said, like it's kind of easing you into it. But I think you're following this guy who is looking back on his. Well, it starts where he's thinking back to when he met this girl 14 years ago, and like kind of how they like fell in love and what happened to them and stuff. And when I watched Milena Reed's talk about this, she was saying that it's really heartbreaking and there's like so much that goes on in this story. They kind of like can't be together. You know, it's a bit of one of those stories, two people like love each other but can't be together for some reason. Mm-hmm. But the start of the book was him, his friend is working with the girl, and that's how he ends up meeting her. And it's just very chilled kind of writing in the beginning. They just go and sit and they go to restaurants together and they're just kind of getting to know each other. He's super shy and like seems really sweet. Mm-hmm. And his friend and the girl are just friends, and you know, just it's all very kind of like just kind of normal everyday life. Nothing's really happened yet in the part that I read, but I think it's going to be good. But yeah, I don't feel like I don't have much to say about it at the moment because nothing really has happened. It's just setting the scene a little bit. But I'm definitely really intrigued to read about Shanghai in the 1930s because I don't know anything about it at all. Yeah. And when I was looking it up, I noticed that they have I think it's like a series of it on YouTube. So for some reason it's on YouTube and it's got English subtitles and stuff. And it seems like it was only made in 2021. So I was thinking, if I like it, could like watch the series as well on YouTube, which would be quite good.
I'm looking at it right now, and it's got really good reviews.
Yeah. It was. When was it written? I think it started off as it was like serialized in a newspaper. Yeah, started off in a newspaper in sections, and then was brought out as a book. So yeah, sorry guys, I don't have too much to say about it, but it seems I'm scared of it because I don't like to be heartbroken, but I enjoyed the writing to start with. So yeah. I don't have much more to say about it than that, but it should be good.
That is the trouble with some of those, especially like the more historical fiction, literary fiction, anything like that. They're not always going to start out with a bang like you get like with a fantasy or sci-fi sometimes, you know, they kind of hit you in the beginning, or a horror or something. Mm-hmm. So that makes it difficult when you're trying a chapter because I guess the idea is that you're seeing what you want to pick based off that first chapter, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But I did like it. Like I liked the vibe of the book, and it was translated. So it's translated by Karen S. King. Why did I write in this scribbly writing that I can't read? Karen S. Kingsbury, I think, translated it. So that's the thing. I always think with translated books, it's so dependent on the translator as well. Mm-hmm. When like with how things read. So I did like it, but it felt very modern in the way it was written. So I don't know. I don't know if that's just translation or, you know, or the fact that it was because it's just, you know, written differently than anything I've read before. I don't know. But yeah, I liked it though. It was good. And so before we get on with the sprints, the last one we tried before we came on here was LGB. I always get confused because I have a bit of dyslexia. So I get confused with the letters. You say Amy.
LGBTQIA plus.
Yeah, my mind scrambles them up and then I panic. So what book did you read for that one?
So I picked up a book so my mom really likes queer writing, queer books in general. And so we were at Village Books, which is our local bookstore one day. And she's just like, oh, look, I'm going to pick up this book. And she didn't do any research on it, which is not me. I don't go to a bookstore and not look up the book first. But she's like, a queer book, I'm going to pick it up. And so she picked up this book called Enter the Aardvark by Jessica Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not very long. It's a short book.
Mm-hmm.
But when she started reading it, it was difficult for her to understand at first. And I think she gave it a 2.5. Like, it wasn't
Okay.
her kind of book.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the kind of person who, like, if we own the book, I'm going to read it. Like, I want to try it. And so I was like, I'd be interested to see what I think about this, especially because she said the very first beginning, she says at the very beginning, you like go through like the Big Bang all the way through to then Aardvark. And because it's Enter the Aardvark.
Mm-hmm.
And she's right. The very first, I didn't read the first chapter, but I read the first, like, it's like it starts here.
Right.
And
Okay, yeah.
it's almost like a prologue, but it doesn't say prologue. But what it is it's basically just the Big Bang all the way through and all the steps that get to the first Aardvark, and like naming the first Enter the Aardvark is what it is, because whoever named him in 18 something, the scientist that named him, the naturalist that named him, was like, Enter the Aardvark, meaning like enter him into the system. That's what this creature is.
Okay.
And it's the way it's described is very rambly, like a whirling mass of vapors is unhinged, shooting through outer space for an infinity until it collides with an ellipsis, which does not let go. And then the sentences are really long. Like, it just is building this change, and you see all the changes. And honestly, it's weird, but it's my kind of weird. So I'm like, oh, I think I might like this, I like that first, and it's very, I don't know what the actual story is about. I think there's a politician in it, and there's a Republican politician in it that receives a mysterious package in the mail. Inside is an enormous taxidermied aardvark. What does it mean? Well, everything. And then it goes on from there, and it's like, it's like Mom said, it was very, very strange. And
I mean, I'm struggling to get my head around it a bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, and so I'm just curious, and I did like the way that first section was written. Like, I thought it was fascinating. Like, it pinged the little science part of my brain, but it's, this is also a fiction, so sometimes it's kind of fun to read books that like ping that part of my brain that's interested in science, but then also will take me into more of a fiction story. So I don't really know what to make of this. The reviews were like average 3.63, so not high.
Okay.
But
I suppose, like, is it polarizing, or was it not so much?
Some of the reviews I saw, I think people were just saying it was too weird, or I don't understand what was going on, or I just didn't enjoy it. And other people were like, wow, this was so clever, and yada, yada, yada. So I don't know what to make of it, but I'm curious to try it out. And I liked that first section. So honestly, this has that little first section intrigued me the most of the 4 books I've read so far.
Okay, that's cool.
As far as like that first initial impact kind of reading.
Yeah, where you're like, I want to carry on reading this and find out what on earth is going on. And
it wouldn't be too long, so that's also a bonus.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah. That's added bonus. So the one I picked up for this one is My Cat Yugoslavia by Pajtim Stopchi. I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize. But yeah, so this book is about a guy whose family is from Kosovo, but they immigrated to Finland. And so he's lived there, and it says on the back that he's kind of like a bit of a social outcast in Finland because he's not from there. And the book starts out where he meets some guy that he's on the internet, and they're just like finding some guy to hook up with. I got a little bit confused because I wasn't sure if he knew him or not. Like, that kind of confused me a bit. And so the first scene is it's them two together, and then kind of this, you do get the vibe of like this pull between desire and kind of isolation and shame as well. Like them kind of having this encounter in like secret, and it having the vibe of being something that they shouldn't be doing, because the guy that's come to him has professional parents and he's not allowed to be openly gay. I think that's what's going on. So there's that whole scene, and that's just a very short kind of section. And then it goes on to chapter 1, and he's off to buy a snake. He's off to buy a boa. So again, like nothing huge kind of happened, but you definitely got the vibe of, I definitely got the vibe of like loneliness in a way, straight off the bat. And it does say on the front, someone's written a strange, haunting and utterly original exploration of displacement and desire. So I just feel like this book will have so much more to say, but in the short section that I read, I not huge amounts happened, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So same again, really. But I am very intrigued. I think he ends up, well, it says on the back that he ends up going back to Kosovo, finding out about his family history and everything that happened. And so there's a lot to get out of this. I really am interested in reading this to find out what's going on. So yeah, it was good, but not much has happened so far.
Yeah. Those first chapters, it's hard. Yeah, and I was also thinking about like, so this one being a short book. Short books, you kind of have to have the first section be really more, like grabbing you, right? Than a longer book. So I wonder if that influences with try a chapter too.
Yeah, it probably does actually. Although this book isn't very long, but I know what you mean. Like very, very short books. Yeah, they need to be grabby, definitely. But I think out of the 4 that I read, the one that I'm most intrigued about is The Selfish Gene. But again, like I love science, so like you, that's what sparks my interest straight away, and I want to just keep reading. It's always science. No surprises there.
Same with me.
Yeah,
I think for me it's between these two at this moment.
Yeah, My Cat Yugoslavia as well, I'm super intrigued by. But it was good. It was good to sit down and read them. Exciting. I'm just gonna go through.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Nice to meet you. I've skipped over Anne-Marie. How do I like this one?
Selfish Gene, because that's...
Oh, Selfish Gene. Duh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not very bright, guys. Not very bright.
Okay.
Hey, Anne-Marie.
Hey, Anne-Marie. Welcome. Yeah. Of course, Shell would be interested in that. She really did the God Delusion.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same because I feel like there is going to be a lot of philosophy in it, and I love thinking about the big questions as well. That's one of my favorite things to sit and do. So yeah, I'm excited. So right, I'm going to go to the little list. We can get on with our first sprint in a second. So I
think the first one is favorite genre.
That's the one. Yeah. Favorite genre. So
what
did you?
Genre?
Well, I cheated with this because I kept saying the whole of last year my favorite genre was fantasy, but this is not a fantasy book. This is like speculative sci-fi, which is also my favorite. Yeah. So I'll tell you what I'm reading first. So I'm going to be trying Dawn by Octavia E. Butler.
That's right. I remember you talked about that one.
Yeah, I'm very excited to try this. What are you going to try?
So I don't like picking favorites. That's really hard for me to do. But the book that I would like, or the genre that I really always am excited to read, but don't get to read enough of, is sci-fi. So I have Never Let You Go by Kazuo Ishiguro.
Ah, okay.
And I've never read this. I've had it for a long time, and I want to try it.
Have you read anything else by him?
No, have you?
No, I wanted to read Clara and the Sun. That was Ishiguro, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and
I haven't got to it yet. Huh? Sorry?
Oh, just mixed things. Like some people absolutely love, this one and then Clara and the Sun, but then some people don't like it at all. So I'll be curious.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. That looks stunning. I've read Kindred before. I really liked it. But yeah, I've seen that graphic novel and I think the artwork's great. Almost done. We're switching to The Lesson by Cadwell Turnbull. I haven't heard of that either.
I'll be interested to hear what you think about Octavia Butler. Well, you've already read Kindred, so did you love that?
I liked Kindred a lot. Yeah, I did like it. It was a lot less sci-fi than I thought it was going to be. Like this one sounds a lot more kind of sci-fi. I've also read the one about climate change, which for some reason the name escapes me, but I did like that as well. Completely forgotten what that's called.
Is it The Parable of
Yeah, Parable of the Sower. Yeah, I've read that. I really like that as well. So this is going to be my third Octavia E. Butler, and I'm excited about it. I think that the loose description is this woman who the last thing she remembers is a war and her husband and child. And there is like another race. I don't know if they're from an alien world or something, but they've like made some people go to sleep for like, I don't know, some amount of time. And now she's just going to wake up. And so it's like, she's just got taken from her old life and then she's just suddenly woken up. And this is one of my fears, actually, because you know how some really rich people go and get themselves cryogenically frozen? I just feel like that's the worst thing in the world, because can you imagine like it being like an instant, like you're dead and then suddenly you wake up and it's 200 years in the future and you're in like a zoo or something with people looking at it, because they're not going to care that you paid loads of money to be cryogenically frozen 200 years ago. Would you ever want to do that? I feel like that's terrifying.
No, I have no desire. No desire. Especially if I live in a zoo.
Well, okay, yeah, everyone says you don't know what's going to happen. Maybe they wouldn't, but I feel like you know what humans are like. They would put you in a zoo or something, or they would experiment on you, put you in big
human that we brought back to life.
Exactly. But isn't like someone told me Walt Disney's cryogenically frozen?
Really?
I don't know if that's true. Someone mentioned it to me when we were talking about it the other day, and I was like, wow. Yeah, well, yeah. I hope he doesn't wake up in 300 years scared.
So dark Disney.
That's cool.
Okay, cool. I'll tell you what I think at the beginning.
Oh, you guys don't agree on books, do you?
No, we don't. We don't tend to agree. I mean, no, we do have books that we both have loved, definitely. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, especially the stuff that's more literary or historical or sad or whatnot, I tend to love those and Shell hates them or at least doesn't like them. Yeah. Means of the day. Our workbook club is going to be reading Clara in the Sun. Oh, Clara in the Sun for April. You loved it. That's good to hear. I don't know. Honestly, don't know what it's about. So.
What, Never Let Me Go or Clara in the Sun? Yeah.
I know what Clara in the Sun is about. Yeah. Oh, I want to read that.
I haven't read any Sarah J. Maas.
Me neither.
No, I really want to though, because everybody loves it, don't they? Well, not everybody loves it, but a lot of people love it. Okay, so if I set the timer to 10 past, we can do our first sprints. Did I add the banner? There we go. I mean, that's very brief what I've just written. It doesn't explain absolutely anything.
It's nice. My first chapter is not too long, so that's good. It's like this. I think I can do that in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think you're cool. Okay. Happy reading, everyone.
Happy reading.
Hello,
Woo!
everybody.
I got through a chapter. Did you?
I did. It was short, so.
That's nice, isn't it?
So, what were your thoughts?
I'm intrigued. I don't know what to make of it yet. It started out the chapter started out more intriguing than I think it got towards the end, but like, not that it got boring. It was just that the first part of the chapter, I was like, what is going on here? I don't understand what's happening. And I still don't understand what's happening. So it's a good way to get you to be like, well, what is going on in this place? Like, what is this? I don't understand it. And so apparently this main character is a carer.
Okay.
People that give donations of something, or I don't know what it is, but she's a carer, and she's been a carer for almost 12 years, and that's like a long time to be a carer for. Carer, it's a hard word to say.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's kind of like then there's a flashback to her childhood,
Okay.
where they live among these guardians, whatever that means, all these kids, and I don't know what. So like, it's a good job of making me curious to know what's going to happen next, like, or what the deal is here.
Yeah. Like, what is going on?
I don't know.
What's happening?
Yeah. So what about you?
Yeah, it's good. It's the first chapter is this woman Lilith, and she's just in this room, but she doesn't just wake up from a sleep. She like is waking up, and things are being done to her. She's waking up with scars sometimes, and like she's woken up and she's had someone put in the room with her for like a short amount of time, and she's never had like clothes to wear, but then suddenly they've given her clothes, and it's just she's just in this room, and she doesn't know where the light's coming from. Like there's no light, but there's light, and there's like sound, but there's no speakers, and she doesn't know what's happening. It sounds like she lost her husband and son like way before she was taken. Mm-hmm. So, and then there's been this war, and now she's here, and she just doesn't know what else going on. And at first she was like being cagey about answering the questions, and then she's like, now she's just answering them, but she's kind of lying whenever she wants to. It's just really, it's intriguing. It is intriguing.
So good, actually. That's a good first chapter.
Yeah, it was a good first chapter. And the second chapter is just, but we'll see what happens. But right now that's jumped to my number one that I want to carry on reading. I knew this would happen because I really want to read it.
Yeah.
And find out what's going on. It's creepy. Oh.
I don't know. It might be between Enter Aardvark and this one now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like the writing style of this. It's a very, like, I don't know. Do you ever notice how writing style has a feeling to you? Like, have you ever felt that? So this feels very clean. The writing style feels very clean to me. I don't know how to better explain that, but and I'm liking it. But I'm also just curious, like, So, yeah.
Yeah, until what's going on.
Win the day.
I'm excited to hear what you think about it, actually. Because, I've heard mixed things about that one too. So, this is my first Sarah J. Maas. I hope you like Sarah J. Maas. Yeah, I bet everyone loves Crescent City, though, right? Everyone who reads Crescent City loves Crescent City, from what I've heard.
Yeah, I've only heard like 1 or 2 3-star reviews for that, but even a lot of people that say, oh, I don't like, ACOTAR or any of the other, Throne of Glass or any of the other Sarah J. Maas, they all say they like Crescent City. So, or, yeah. I'm
so intrigued. I need to get to it. It's just really big. It's a commitment.
Yeah.
Got through chapter of Tower of Dogs. Nice.
Good job. 156. 3 pages.
3 pages. Actually, I'm not that ahead of you, not going to lie.
I think that was only like 12 pages. So,
yeah, mine was even less than 12. I'm a slow reader. Nice. I feel so jealous you guys are doing that read along, and I'm not joining it. The other day I was on Discord and I was like, should I just go through the chapters and read all the comments? I just don't think I'm going to read the books. So I thought, well, I could always do that and just find out what's going on.
Yeah. You probably get enough to be able to tell from the chapters. I mean, it's fun. I'm glad you're joining us for All Souls though, because it's a fun like little community we have. It's good.
But I don't know if anybody doesn't know that Amy runs a book group called Bookstarer along with a couple of other people, and they do read-alongs, and it's really fun. I recommend. So good.
So we're reading Mortal Instruments and All Souls trilogy. Well,
plus one.
Yeah, exactly.
Read a whopping 13 pages. That's good. Oh no, that's a shame.
Vanishing with the romance, the smutty romance vampires not capturing your attention, Natalie. That's a bummer. 8 pages. Oh, nice. Great job. Ooh,
what snack did you make?
Yeah, my question too.
Mm-hmm. We just had Chinese for dinner and found something dodgy in my food. Not gonna lie.
That's gross.
Well, it's gross. And as I was saying, I was like, why are you saying this? Nobody needs to know.
No,
it was fine. Like a hair of some kind, just to clarify. It wasn't too gross, but it was gross enough. Oh, you finished Kindred. What did you think?
Yeah, good question. I need to get on to Octavia Butler. I really do.
Yeah.
Based on what you said by that first chapter, I think I'm gonna be intrigued at least.
Yeah, I like her writing style, actually. I have no words to describe it. This is the thing, because you guys, a lot of people on BookTube who are like English literature students or like do English in some way, but I was so bad at English at school. I can't spell, I don't understand grammar. I like books, but I'm not, I just never have the words to describe like writing styles or anything like that. Maybe I'll take a course one day, who knows?
You just have to describe it like I do. It's a feeling like clean.
It's feeling.
It's a clean writing style. It just feels that way to me.
23% of all the water I've seen is running.
Great job.
I have to look that up because I don't know what that is.
I don't either. I gotta look it up too. All the water is running. By Elias Rodriguez.
I like the name. All the water is running.
Fiction, literary fiction, LGBT, intercoastal waterways of North Florida. Daniel and Aubrey navigated adolescence. So is it YA? Oh, maybe not. No, it's adult. I'll have to look into that more. Curious now.
Yeah, me too. Not feeling connection between the couples. Yeah, I hate it when you read a book where the couple is just not. It's just not the one.
Yep. Yeah, I do too.
Loved it. Yeah. Aww. Maybe I should pick that up. It looks so pretty.
Ooh, that sounds good.
That sounds healthy.
I love trail mix.
Yeah, I do. It's good. Bad English tendency. Okay, yeah, that makes me feel so much better because I don't know. I see a lot of like memes and stuff on like Twitter and Instagram about bad grammar, and I'm like, oh no, that's me they're talking about.
There you go, and chocolate chips. See, you said it sounds healthy, but
chocolate chips is the best thing to have in the trail mix.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Yeah. So I guess at this moment, as much as I want to read Vanishing Half, if I'm going based off my Tria chapter, like what is most exciting to me at the moment, I think now it's between these two.
Yeah. I do like the cut. I like the one with the aardvark ears. Ears? That is ears?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the end of that little section, it says aardvark means earth pig. But at first they were trying to think of names for it because it has ears like a rabbit. And said, so the hair pig? And the ears and snout tell us they're guided by hearing and smell. So the ant bear? And he goes, no. And then he asks one of the hunters that is with him, and he says, they pronounce aardvark, and that means earth pig. And so it says, enter the aardvark.
I feel like I can't picture an aardvark in my head. Does it look like a pig?
They look more like an anteater.
Yeah,
But like
I suppose they have the
nose,
snout thing.
yeah, they've got the little nose, but the long nose like an anteater, but shorter than that. They do have bigger ears, and then I don't know. Let me look up an artwork because I mix them up with what do you call those little guys that we have in Texas that people hit? Armadillos.
Yeah, I think yeah. Oh, yeah, they are kind of like a pig.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're ugly.
I'll show you the screen.
Sorry for aardvark lovers.
I love animals with massive ears. I just think if they have the bigger the ears, the better, in my opinion.
Oh, they've got really big claws. Oh, Cece, my dog has big ears.
Yeah, I enjoy that sounds weird, but I like the ears. Cece's ears, thank you.
So you must like fennec foxes. And
yeah, I love fennec foxes. Deers, my favorite. If I see a deer, I'm really happy about that.
It's the animal with the biggest ears.
Yeah, elephant's my favorite animal, of course.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
But I also love otters. They don't really have ears. Well, they don't have big ears.
They have really, really nubs or something.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what's going on here? Why are you laughing?
When Ashley said, I don't hit the armadillos. In Texas, they get hit often because they're nocturnal. They're not the brightest of animals. And so they run out in the street at night and people don't see them and then they hit them. So oftentimes in Texas, you don't really see armadillos very often because they're nocturnal. But when you do see them, they're usually dead on the side of the road. So
shame. That's so sad.
That's not me though. I've never hit one.
Yeah, whatever. Right, so our next one is mental and physical health representation. And so I have decided, it's actually an audiobook, which I didn't realize I could only get it on audio, but it's called Tiffany Sly Lives Here Now. And it's this cover here.
I saw that.
I think it's years old. My phone's dirty. Sorry about that. Yeah, by Dana L. Davis. He's an actress, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah. As a side note, don't know if I've seen anything.
So what's the representation for in that one?
Oh, yeah. So, okay. I don't know if this is like Dana Davis has this or not. I think I saw part of it is anxiety, and I think she has suffered with anxiety. The other part is OCD.
Okay.
So I have OCD, so that's why I want to read it, because I've only read one book with OCD in, I think, and that was John Green's Turtles All the Way Down.
Yeah.
So I'm just intrigued. So I kind of don't really care if she hasn't got OCD. I just want to see how it's represented, to be honest.
Did you think that Turtles All the Way Down was a good representation of OCD?
Well, mine manifests differently to that. Mm-hmm. However, the vibe is correct, in my opinion. I really felt like, yeah, I agree. Okay. Yeah, have you read that? Did you?
Oh yeah, I loved it. Yeah,
actually, you liked it, yeah.
I really loved it. Surprisingly, I didn't expect to.
Yeah, I thought the storyline could have been better, but I thought the feeling of like what you get with OCD, like, yeah, I thought that was really well done. But John Green suffers with OCD, doesn't he, as well? So he knows exactly what he's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's it. OCD and anxiety representation.
So I'm reading The Kiss Quotient.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about this because honestly, to be honest, BookTube world, I just want to read romance right now. I don't want to read anything else, but I have to read other things. But I'm going through a little thing right now where my brain's like, no, I don't want to read anything else. And so I'm hoping that this is a really good first chapter. What a cheat. That's another cheat.
That is a cheat, but no, you need to get some romance in there in your life. I get it. And everyone loves that book as well. I'm really intrigued. It's autism representation, right?
Say that again.
Is it autism representation?
Yeah, Helen Huang is autistic. I think she didn't find out till she was older, as an adult. But then apparently the representation is really good. So I haven't read too much with autism rep. I read recently a middle grade that was really good. That's supposed to. The reviews said that it was supposed to be really good representation. So I'm curious to see, because you're right. Everybody loves this one. Everybody loves this series in general. So there's a part of me that I just want to read romance right now.
I'm still yet to find that good romance. I never get on with romances, so maybe I'll give that one a try.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
I am a romance reader, so like,
I just easy reads for me, and that's romance. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I really love the Kish quotient.
Yep.
Hey, and it's like maths and science as well, right? So that's always a bonus.
Yeah, exactly. It's educational.
I'm obsessed by okay, I'll make a note of that. Thank you. I'll look that up. Yeah, Anne-Marie liked it too.
So we'll see how the first chapter is. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
But my library doesn't have it yet.
I'm sorry. That's a bummer. Yeah, I picked this up from the library today. So I feel like when it comes to romances, there's a lot that the library doesn't have, because I've been looking for a few recently that either are only on Kindle or you can only buy them on Amazon or something. They're just so hard to get a hold of. And I don't know why there's certain romances that the library just doesn't carry. Just like, we don't need to read that.
It's weird because the Kish quotient is so popular as well. So you'd think that would be like a definite one.
Absolutely.
Amy loves it too. This is like rave reviews all round. Rave reviews. Romance while you're struggling through college. Yeah, that's true.
Oh.
Light reading. Oh,
oftentimes, even for most normal romances, I think a 3.5 is pretty average anyways, because romances really have to they have to grab you to be the rating system is difficult. Like, if you think about rating systems, we're comparing like a romance to something that is like a literary feat or a classic, or something that is a literary fiction. It's so hard to compare those kinds of books, and so I feel like each genre needs its own rating system in a sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that it's weird, because I just think I've been unlucky with my romances, because when I think about the television I like to watch, I love to watch the cheesiest romance. Like, do you know what I mean? I love all that stuff. I love like I guess teen dramas aren't romantic, but they're centered around romantic relationships. I love all that stuff. Yeah. So I think I just haven't found the right one. But you're right. It's not on the same kind of level playing field, is it? That's the thing. It's the same when you like rate children's books and stuff. Like, how can you? It's just totally different things.
I agree.
Super steamy. Nice.
Some of the blush, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's some of your choices. Oh, good to hear. I'm glad. At least that's helpful, huh? 4 stars for Kiss Quotient.
Nice.
Here's the trilogy. The second one, Bride Test, things happen too fast for me, and then the third is absolutely fantastic. Oh yeah, I have the third one. I got it in a authentic box, so it's funny because I have the third book in the series, but I don't have any of the other ones.
What does CW mean?
And Anne-Marie, what does CW mean? So it was an emotionally difficult read for me. I should know this, right?
I'm not really a romance reader, more of a thriller mystery. Oh, I'd love to read those books, but I'm such a wuss. I was scared of, what's that program called? ER. I was even scared of that when I was a child.
Really? Oh, I loved ER.
I liked it, but yeah. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Okay. Romance is my favorite genre. I usually rate them by enjoyment. Yeah.
Yep. And that's how I feel too. Content warning. Oh, thank you. Okay, I was thinking. I think of TW, trigger warning. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. I have an off-topic question regarding. Oh.
Do you mean like for one of the prompts that I just put the video up for? Is that what I mean? Yeah, if you start it in February, that's fine. Yeah. I'm very loose with my TBR game because to be honest, even if I've read half a book and I want to put it on the game as a prompt, I just feel like as long as you finish it in that month, that's my rule. I kind of don't really mind how far along it is.
I agree. It is. I think that's what my brain went to first. It's a television network.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah, sweet.
Cool.
What are we doing? Oh yeah, I get to listen to an audiobook. That's nice.
Oh, I get to start my steamy romance.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and be honest about this. I'm going to try and be honest. It's about the chapter that I read.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'll check. As I know, if I don't ask, I'll forget. Oh, no. It's cool. It's cool. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for being interested in joining in. I love it. It's really exciting.
I put an actual alert on my calendar for the 15th to go back and see if I actually read any books for your prompts then, because I'll forget. So I was like, okay.
No, I thought, because I nearly messaged you actually and be like, oh, do you want to use this? And I thought, what am I doing? I can't interrupt Amy's life with my nonsense. Like,
you can. I have horrible memories. So that's why I made it. It was the 25th. I put a reminder on my calendar on the 25th. So on the 25th, I'll come back to your video. I'll actually try and remember what I've read and if it works for any of the prompts.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. I read other genres too, although I do struggle with some fantasy and romance genres. Yeah.
Just not a romance fan at all, which, I have one follower, the autistic reader, who she loves thriller. She's like, as dark and thrilling as horror is, but not a fan of romance. So it's not for everyone. Romance is definitely not for everyone.
It's true. Cool. So let's do another sprint. What time are we on? 32. Oh, let me edit that. So when should we read to, Amy? Should we do like 52?
Yeah.
Okay. 52.
All right. This one's a short chapter, so I should be okay.
Yeah. Cool. All right. See you soon. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, Amy, I was so close to the end of my chapter. I was like 2 minutes 33 to go.
Oh no. So it's a really long chapter, I guess, huh?
Yeah, well, it was 25 minutes, but I had it on 1.5, so I had to skip back a few times. So I was like, wait, what's happening? But yeah, I'm so intrigued. Right, how was your book?
Really? Wait, now tell me about that. You're really intrigued, huh?
I'm just intrigued. I want to know what's happened. Well, it's like a weird mix of like funny and sad. Like I've laughed a few times out loud, but then it's kind of sad as well. So Tiffany she's a young black girl from Chicago and she's moving to LA. So the book starts when she's on a flight and then she's like getting the cab and she's talking to the cab driver going to her dad's, who she's never met before. So she's going to live with him. And the school that she's going to go to is like predominantly white.
Okay.
Like I think like 99% white or something. And so she's kind of talking about that. But during that time, she's like terrified in the airplane. She's terrified in the car because he's like driving so fast. And like she's just watching everything that's going on. And yeah, I mean, I can relate to that. It's like, yeah. I mean, but I feel like if you're in a cab and they're driving really fast, everyone panics.
Yeah.
But then suddenly she's like, oh, I've got 7 days to tell my dad what's going on. And then she like skips back in time. So her mum's just died. So much has happened. Her mum's like sadly passed away. And it's like just after the funeral. And then some guy has turned up at her door and said that he's her father. And that he's got like all this like evidence of like photos with him with the mom and all of this. And he wants a DNA test. And she's like, you're not my dad. Like, no, I'm going to move with my dad. I've always known who my dad is, even though she's not there anyway. So there's lots going on. And I don't know what's happening. But it's kind of like, yeah, I feel like it's going to be sad. And like, but it's kind of got funny moments as well. So I've enjoyed it. Yeah. It was a good first chapter. How about you?
Sounds like a lot in a first chapter. How long is the book?
Huh? Sorry?
How long is the audiobook?
Only 8 hours.
Okay, so it's not too long of a book either then.
No. Yeah, not too long of a book. Yeah.
Yeah, so it went well. Like, it's not the most exciting first chapter I've ever read, but the end of the chapter is exciting. Like, you're kind of like, okay, it's good. The writing, it's so different than the writing of the last book I was reading. So like, for me, the reason it's hard for me to start new books is because a lot of times my brain is like used to the writing style of the last book. So it takes a little time to adjust to the new writing style. And this is so different in the writing style than the last one. And so at first I'm like, oh yeah, it's interesting, but it wasn't grabbing me as much as I wanted. But of course, the end of the chapter is like, you're like, oh, I just want to I want to find out what happens. So basically, our main character, she's at breakfast with her mom and her dad, and her mom goes, I just want to warn you, or I want you to know, I want you to be prepared for the fact that I want grandkids now. Like, and she has a hard time with relationships, especially with men. She doesn't like sex. She's just had really bad experiences. It's never been what she enjoys. She doesn't like dating people and getting to know them. And so she's just freaked out because her mom's like, if you don't bring a date to something coming up, some event coming up, I'm going to set you up with somebody again. And because her mom's determined that she will have grandkids. And so
what's wrong with her mom? That's so bad.
Can you imagine being that? I'm glad that I've never had family that's been that pressuring when it comes to that sort of thing.
No, geez.
Yeah, so it's like it's good and I'm enjoying it, but like the first chapter of the other two books I think just grabbed me a little bit more, but at the end of this chapter I was like, oh,
yeah.
So
that counts too, Amy. That counts too.
Okay. That counts.
the end of the chapter. That's how it hooks you in.
Yes.
Oh, I've lost like where I am in the chat. I
think Ashley's muted. Yeah.
Oh yeah. There you go. 9 pages. Nice. 22 pages. Smashed it.
Of the vampires that you're not enjoying.
Oh yeah. Have they got any more interesting? That couple. Into feedback.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's true. I just sat on my butt and listened to my audiobook. I could have been cleaning. Didn't do that. 27%. Nice.
Okay, making progress. That's
8 pages
okay.
again. Cool.
Yeah, that's good.
No.
Man.
No.
Hi,
Hello. This is Mel, if people don't know, although you probably do, but Mel is the lovely person who organised the readathon that we're reading the books for.
Yeah. So thank you, Mel, for organizing such an amazing readathon.
Yeah.
We're having fun testing all these chapters. We've gone through quite a few books, or quite a few prompts so far. We went through nonfiction. We went through books set on an island. We did a booktuber's favorite book, LGBTQ plus representation, favorite genre, and then we just read mental and physical health representation.
Yay.
So we're doing good.
Yeah, it's good. It's such a fun game. If you haven't, I should have linked to the video in the description. Sorry, I didn't do that. I'll add that in. So if people are watching later, then they can find the video.
Yeah.
How are you reading this morning, or are you just chilling out, Mel? Crescent City, nice. Yeah. What do you think of that? Okay. Yeah. That's good. At least that part's interesting. Staring at your phone, Amy.
I've been doing that too much lately, actually, myself. The stupid video reels, and it's so easy just to click on one, watch it, go to the next, watch it, go to the next, watch it, go to the next, and I'm like, what am I doing? I've just been sitting, and I'm not even a TikToker, not someone who follows those reels very often, but lately it's mindless.
Really?
And if they're funny, especially, you're like, oh, that's cute. You look at the next one. Oh, that's cute. And it's easy to just keep going to the next one. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what have I been doing with my time?
Yeah, it's like an hour later. I've never been on TikTok. So no, I've seen TikToks, but I've never gone on the platform. So I haven't had that.
But oftentimes they put those TikTok videos on Instagram reels and stuff like that. So then I
don't understand Instagram reels. I'm such a I understand Facebook. That's about it.
It's better that you stay away from it because it is addictive. Because you can't help it. You just keep looking at the reels one after the other, and yeah,
it is addictive. I think my partner does that because he'll just it will make random noises, because it comes on loud, and I'm like, oh my gosh, turn that off. It's just different videos constantly. Okay. Video reels. Oh, you're making me want to check it out now, to be honest.
No, don't do it. That's why I don't let myself get it. Yes, it's dangerous. I already got enough of that on Instagram and no. It's dangerous, I'm telling you.
Right, the next prompt is, I've lost my list of stuff.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, read Tiffany. I kind of feel like Tiffany Sly Lives Here Now is at the top of my want to read list, but that's awful because Dawn should be at the top.
No, it's going to be based off the first chapter.
I'm just saying, if I'm going to read two from the list, Dawn and Tiffany Sly Lives Here Now are at the top.
So it's another readathon prompt.
Yes, steal a prompt from another readathon. So what did you choose for that?
So I am going to be participating in Spring Into Reading-a-thon because it's during a week that I'm doing a secret TBR, and I was able to make it work with some of the books that I'm going to be reading that week. And so one of the prompts is collecting dust, and that means read a book. Oh no, one of the prompts is spring cleaning or something, and it's a book that's been collecting dust on your shelf for a while. So I picked up Stardock by S.L. Viel.
What is that?
It's like an older sci-fi series about this Stardock, this doctor who is and Mom loves it. I think Shell's read it too. Haven't you read it, Shell? And it's older. It's probably not well known on BookTube, but it's one that we have. So I'm like, it's been on our shelves for a very long time. So it sounds interesting. And like I said, I've been wanting to get more into sci-fi lately just because I like sci-fi, but I don't make time for it. So I think this would be a fun read. But it's the first in a series that's pretty long. So
is that an alien thing, the Stardog?
Yeah.
An ET thing?
Yeah.
I don't think I've read any actual alien sci-fi, no? I can't think of anything.
I have.
But have you?
The Sparrow.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of anything else. I probably have. I just can't remember.
Did I lie because I've read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes, that is very Alien in the E.
Yeah, that is Alien in the Extreme.
So you have.
I have, yeah. I don't know if YouTube Shorts can be removed with the paid membership. Oh.
I don't know.
So YouTube, I get sucked into quite badly, like, because now it just automatically plays, like when you go on the homepage and you're just like, so it's not even people I've subscribed to, it's just like random. And then that's when you like, how many times have I just suddenly watching a Sims video? Like, what's that about? Like, I left my Sims overnight. I love all that stuff. I'll watch it for hours.
It's kind of annoying too that automatically plays, because sometimes then it shows that I've watched a video that I haven't watched yet. Like when I'm looking back at some of the videos I want to watch, it'll look like I've already watched it. So then I'll think that I'll absentmindedly think that I already watched it. And I'm like, wait a minute, I never even watched that. But it just started playing while I was, and then also I often start videos, especially vlogs, the longer vlogs. I love vlogs, but some of the longer ones I have to come back to later, like I'll start it and then I come back to it later. And if I have to, if there's too many of those ones that start playing automatically, then it starts getting in my feed
history. Yeah,
my history feed, and I want to go back to the ones I was watching previous, and it starts getting cool. Anyways,
but they've only recently started doing that, I think, haven't they? Because I swear that never used to happen, and then suddenly I went on my history to try and find a video that I'd been watching, and I had to scroll for ages. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. YouTube.
Yeah, that's annoying. YouTube. But I don't know. I don't know about the paid membership. What exactly you get from that?
Oh no, I don't have no idea. Yeah, it looks intriguing. To be fair, I'm interested to hear. My shorts people I follow. Yeah, it shows you whatever they were. Yeah, exactly.
Yep,
it's crazy.
How they get you hooked.
Yeah. What are we reading now? Oh yeah, readathons. Okay, you're reading that. What am I reading? I decided, because I follow Caitlin from the Lit Review, who I love. She's awesome.
Me too.
And she's one of the co-hosts for Greek Godathon in March, which sounds like an epic readathon as well. Not joining in with it, I refuse.
Yeah.
No time.
Too many. There's just too many.
So Caitlin is the co-host. Her Greek god that her team is, it's Hermes, and there's loads of different prompts within the groups, but the main prompt for Hermes was short read. So
perfect.
Yeah, that was perfect. So I'm gonna read The Test by,
I remember you talking about that one. How long is that one again?
It's really short. It's it's the worst thing to read for this kind of thing, but it's 100 and something pages, but by Sylvain Nouvelle. Yeah. And so this is one of the books where people are always like, I don't want to talk about it because you should go in not knowing anything. I'll show you the cover for people, because that's the cover. Do you recognize it? Yeah. So it's just like a British test to get into Britain. Basically, that's all I know about it. That's what it's based around. So I'm so intrigued about this book. I've heard about it for a long time, and I really want to read it. So
I'm curious about that one too. I know a lot of people love Sleeping Giants, that series. I don't know what the name of that series is, but that Sylvain Nouvelle series, Sleeping Giants, and there's a couple others, but that one's pretty popular. But The Test sounds really interesting to me.
No, I've never heard of. What did you say it was? Sorry, someone was shouting outside the window. London is just loud sometimes. So I lost focus because someone was yelling. It sounded like they were on my balcony.
Let me see if I can find the cover. This series I hear about a lot.
Oh, Sleeping Giants. Yeah. Oh, I didn't connect the author with those two books. I didn't realize.
Have you read that at all?
No. I have heard a lot about it though as well.
Same. So I'm curious, but I'm more curious about The Test, the book you're going to be reading.
Yeah, it's definitely something interesting. Oh, you're doing Greek Godathon. What team are you on?
Yeah, good question. Things about that. The Test.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I probably can't say much about it, but I hope I have a big reaction to it. That's what I'm hoping for.
It sounds fascinating. That one in particular. I would be curious about. I don't know how I feel about the other ones, but I'll be looking forward to your thoughts.
Yeah. That should be good. Right. Okay. So let's get going. Maths. 27. Is that what it is? Let's edit that. Oh, no. Okay.
You would, Shell.
What did Shell say? What was it?
Team Hades, of course.
He's
a big Hades fan. I'm doing that.
Wait, that's not till April, right? Oh no, there's a mini one.
There's a mini one. Yeah, there's 2 prompts for that one for gearing up. But I'm already reading those books. They're on my TBR already.
Oh,
so
okay. I need to look over that again. Cool. All right, I'll speak to you in a sec.
Okay.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
How did you get on?
I didn't make it through my first chapter because I made it to page 12 and it's 22 pages for the first chapter.
That's
So,
pretty good. What's
but
it like?
it's fun. Like it's fun sci-fi. Like the other sci-fi are more thoughtful sci-fi, I think. Or at least, like Never Let Me Go. These are the kind of, I think that's sci-fi. I'm pretty sure that's sci-fi. Like those are more like thoughtful, makes you think kind of stuff, which I love too. But this seems like it would just be a fun read. It's very much aliens. In the very beginning, she's this doctor. And she's trying to find someone who will take her, like give her a quick trip to wherever she has to go. She's being sent somewhere else, and but she's in some kind of hurry. She has to do it right away, and like we don't know yet why. But she finds this pilot in this like really sleazy bar, and there's these aliens that are fired. No, they're Terrans, but he's like an alien, and she's just describing him and describing what's going on in the situation. It sounds like it would be fun, like. I can tell already that this would be a really fun read.
Oh,
So
cool. Yes.
that's a possibility.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, just because it's like already it's interesting, like
Yeah.
it sounds like it's like one of those sci-fi that are just light and fun, but I don't know, like it's like
Fast-paced.
romance sci-fi, like
Yeah.
it's not a romance, but I mean like how romances are fun and easy and fast to get through. This feels like a sci-fi that would be fun and easy and fast to get through.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Which my brain could use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Some light reading. Yeah, and the test is, like it says, it's the citizen test for that. So you're kind of just going through the questions, but it's like the guy that's taking it is his stream of consciousness. So, but it's quite light-hearted at the moment. Like he's just chatting. I don't know if that's going to change, obviously, but yeah, he's got his wife and kids outside, like waiting for him to do the test, and yeah, it's just very stream of consciousness. They're from Iran, the family, and they've come over for some reason. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to get dark, but yeah, it's interesting because like I never think about taking the test, so the questions are interesting as well, like just things that that they expect you to know about the UK that probably even UK people don't know. Do you know what I mean? Just like ridiculous things that aren't good to anyone, kind of thing.
Yeah. That's pretty cool though. It sounds interesting. Like, and I like stream of consciousness most of the time.
Yes. Actually, talking of stream of consciousness, I finished Mrs. Dalloway yesterday.
Oh, what'd you think?
I really liked it. I was shocked because I thought it was just going to be Mrs. Dalloway's thoughts and only hers, but it isn't, is it? You flip between all the different characters, and I thought it was really interesting. It was a really interesting book. So
yeah, I the first time I read it was in high school, and I just couldn't understand it, so I had to stop. But then when I read it as an adult, like I really liked it. I was surprised how much I liked it, and I had a very different perspective at that point. So it was, it's not for everybody though. Not everybody likes that stream of consciousness writing style.
My mum didn't get on with it. She ended up watching the film because we've got our book club tomorrow. So she watched the 90s film, which I want to watch now actually. It's on YouTube apparently. Have you seen it?
No.
So yeah, I mean the stream of consciousness in the test has a different vibe to Mrs. Dalloway, but as it would. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in there. It's definitely up there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But I think because it's so short, I'm gonna read it in March,
Yeah.
There's the kind of like a no-brainer really. Right, where are we? I scrolled Twitter chain. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Have a cleanse.
Just like those video reels, the same thing. 24 pages. Kindle before you get. Oh, we're still impressed.
Yeah, I am definitely impressed. 25 pages. I've forgotten what Amy's reading. Do you remember?
Yeah, I did too. Sorry, Amy.
Sorry, my brain is like a sieve.
Again, processing in the oh yeah, hoping to find tonight if I can. Less than 3 hours left according to Kindle. Okay, that's good.
Oh, nice.
Finish. Yeah, I do want to read Uprooted. I haven't read anything by Naomi Novik, but that one and Spinning Silver is supposed to be pretty good.
Are they related? Or are they separate?
I don't think those two are related, but
okay.
Maybe they are. I don't know. Great job.
Spinning Silver. I don't know. Spinning Silver is the Rumpelstiltskin thing, right? Because I loved Once Upon a Time, so I feel like I'd love the TV show.
Look at Spinning Silver and see, is that part of, it's not part of a series. Maybe they're related in the same world.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, 34% is great. You've read loads today. I think I'm awesome. Next sprint. Yeah, good times. Oh gosh. No. All these cool readathons.
Oh. I am. I'm reading. Okay, so I have a question actually. What am I looking for? Where'd you go?
You're looking for the books you're going to read?
Yeah, and I don't know what I did with them.
Oh, no.
Well, oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm reading Front Desk for Asian main character. And then, so I have a question because it sounds, anybody who's read Neverending Story, is this considered middle grade? I mean, the character is middle grade and the writing style, I don't know I haven't read it at all, so I'm not sure, but I would consider this like a classic middle grade, but I don't know. Let me know. Has anybody read the Neverending Story? Because if it is, then I'll count this, because this is would be a book that's written before I was born, which is another middle grade March prompt. And then I feel like I was going to be reading another one, and I can't remember at the moment.
But the Neverending Story is a kid's film, isn't it? So you think it was a middle grade.
Yeah. I would think so too. It's harder to tell with some of those classics though, because they're written older.
Well, there wasn't really the divide like there is now, was there?
Yeah, just those two. My one that I was gonna Asian main character and then written before I was born.
Nice. Yeah, I'm intrigued about the Neverending Story. I did watch it. I just watched your TBR video like literally just before we came and did this. Because I couldn't resist. I was like, I should be preparing for the live stream, but I want to watch Amy's video.
I love. Yeah, I watched one of the. I watched another TBR game right before we got on, because it's just the TBR game.
Tis the season. Yeah, and I remember. I kind of remember the film, but I feel like I need to rewatch it because I definitely don't remember it properly. I remember the flying creature, and that's about it.
Yes, he's the best.
The one I cared for picking up, but it's my book club. Okay, yeah. Spinning Silver is so good. Oh, okay, they're not related.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, I do like a bit of Rumpelstiltskin. Should get to that. I finished another chapter of the city. Yeah, cool. Well done.
4%. Awesome.
So
how are you liking it so far, Jean? You think first impressions?
Yeah. I'll read it standalone.
Okay, I thought so. Considered a middle grade. Middle grade to me is anything that's up to middle school, in my opinion. Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't sure, because sometimes those older classic novels don't feel like they're written for, a middle grade audience. But I haven't read it yet, so I can't tell.
When was it written?
79. So definitely before I was born.
Yes. So what is middle school age? Because we don't have middle school here.
Puberty. So I think is it 11 to 13?
Oh, wait. So when people say middle grade, they mean 11 to 13?
Those are the ages, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So we have kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then middle school is 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then high school is 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Okay. Yeah. See, I thought middle grade was 7 to 11. When I talk about middle grade book, that's the age range I'm thinking about. So that's wrong.
No, that's not wrong. Middle grade is supposed to be kind of like 8 to 13-ish, 7 to 13.
Okay.
Depends on the middle grade. I feel like middle grades, especially things like Amari and the Night Brothers and Nevermore and stuff like that, tends to be written for slightly older, but younger kids can enjoy it and appreciate it. But the way it's written is it spans more of a age range.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Amy is doing middle grade monthly. Is that the one run by Gav? Are they? No, they don't do.
No, middle grade monthly. I know Krista from Books and Jams does it. I think a couple of other booktubers within her booktube community do it. I'm not sure if they're the hosts, but I need to catch up on all that information.
High schools way. Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Oh, and middle grade shells.
So it can be whatever I want it to be.
Yeah. It can be middle grade for the month of March.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Once Upon a Time. Yeah, I can't say which season I liked because it was a spoiler. But
I never saw it yet, so I've got to definitely check out that show.
Emma Bad didn't like. That's what I'm gonna say. Well, that kind of gives it away. Damn it. Sorry, everyone. It's slow at times.
Okay, but slow at times.
But I suppose it's right at the beginning, so hopefully it will
pick up,
speed up when you like the characters a bit more.
Okay, good. Then that's my other middle grade book. Perfect. I'm going to read 2 for middle grade March.
Oh, middle grade 8 to 13. Yeah, okay, yeah. Gav does
middle grade monthly. Yeah, and then he did the Believe-a-thon, but he's not doing that anymore.
Oh, of course he did Believe-a-thon. What am I going on about? Gav, yeah. This is by Amanda from Kelly Reader. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Krista. I think you skipped Ashley's. Whatever.
Oh, sorry.
It jumps around sometimes. Yeah. It depends on the kid. When it comes to reading, it depends on the kid, But I'd say anywhere from 7 to 9, all the way up to 13 for middle grade.
Yeah, I'd say I was reading The Babysitter's Club at 13, and my brother was reading Lord of the Rings at 10. So it definitely ranges. YA can include high-end middle grade as well, but that's in the middle grade.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, it's such a mix, isn't it?
It's tricky. Yeah. I think we were having a conversation about this on previous sprints. We're like, well, what if the main character is a young person, but if the story is really adult content because they're going through such hard things and there's not things held back that you might hold back in a children's book. Then do you consider it a middle grade, even though the main character, even though it was written to be an adult story, but it has a main character that's, young?
Yeah.
That to me is tricky. I feel like there's some strange lines here and there,
Yeah. I mean, because kids can handle more as well than I think people think.
True.
But it's when it starts, you don't want it to be graphic, I don't think. That's my personal opinion. I wouldn't want it to be too graphic.
For example, what would you consider Life of Pi?
I've watched the film, but I haven't.
Because I would consider that an adult book, but the main character is really young.
Yeah.
What it's listed as? I'm just curious.
Yeah. Because I guess the pacing is different as well, isn't it, for kids? I've never read Life of Pi, so I can't say I think I've watched the film, maybe. So yeah, I know what you mean. If you've got a young, okay, Assassin's Apprentice, I can go with. Fitz is a child in that book, but it's not a middle grade book.
No, it's not even a YA book. That's an adult. That's an adult fantasy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's adult with teen appeal. That's interesting. I like that. That's a way to, the appeal is that you're seeing a character that's your age.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm not saying that young. I mean, I read a lot of classics and stuff when I was young. So just because of I wanted to be interested in classics. And so I'm not saying like I read a lot of adult books when I was younger, but I was just curious, like when it comes to marketing, who they're marketing towards. And then if you're thinking about the age of the main character, that gets tricky because sometimes it's not actually written for kids or written for teenagers, even if the main character, I think, but I'm going off on a tangent now.
No, it's interesting to think about. Wi-Fi is an adult book. I know here in Canada, it's read in high school.
Yeah.
You do read like quite strong stuff in high school, though, don't you?
Yeah.
Life of Pi, you read at any age, but I think the philosophical aspect would be understood. Yeah. Yeah, like if there's too much going on underneath the surface that kids aren't going to get, like, then they might find it boring, I guess. They're not going to get it all.
I think that makes that makes the age, putting an age on books tricky sometimes. Yeah,
definitely. And that is to do with like the individual child as well, because some like my brother was so smart with stuff and would get it, whereas it would take me a long time before I would understand. So it's definitely individual kids as well, like you say.
Absolutely, totally.
The Asian character. Yeah, tis true. Okay, so actually, it's funny you're saying all this because now I've got a little niece for the first time. I'm so excited about this. I tell everyone. I'm one of those annoying aunts that like, look, my niece. But yeah, like even just like she's not even one, but buying a birthday present, I'm like, what book do you like? You can't. Like you go in the bookshop with all the kids' books. I'm like, it's even difficult to pick what's suitable for a 1-year-old. I have no clue.
Yeah, it is. Oh, absolutely, especially a 1-year-old.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so what are we doing? It's the last one, which is favorite author. Read your favorite author's first work, which this was like my favorite prompt ever, I think, that I've ever heard of. I love this. And yeah, so who is your favorite author, Amy?
I cheated. I didn't actually go with the favorite author. I mean, I went with an author whose the book that I read from them, I gave 5 stars.
Okay,
and I loved it. But the problem is a lot of my favorite authors, or I don't have favorites. I'm not a favorites kind of person, but anybody who I would say that could have been one of my favorite authors, most of the time I've read their first book. So,
yeah.
And I was also trying to think about what I want to read, like what I would like to read this year, what might work in with my plans. So that was hard because I feel bad because, like, can I say this author is my favorite author because I read one book by them and loved it and gave it 5 stars? I don't know.
Well, yeah, you can. It's a potential favorite, like.
Yes, someone who I can, but I don't know who my favorite authors are. That is really hard to say. That's really hard to say.
A favorite author when you were like a teenager? Was there like one person that you'd be like, yeah, that's my favorite author?
I mean, I probably would have said Laurel K. Hamilton because me and Shell and all of our friends were or my family was all obsessed with the Anita Blake series, which is this long series that's very urban fantasy, supernatural kind of stuff, and we loved it.
Cool.
But like, was it a favorite author? I don't know. Like, I don't know. It just, that's what we read. And then of course, when I was younger, I didn't love all the classic stuff that other people say, like, Roald Dahl or different authors like that. I loved like The Babysitter's Club, or I loved Girl Talk and Sweet Valley High and dumb series like that weren't the Boxcar Children. Nothing that was really profound. I wouldn't even remember the authors.
Yeah, I can't even remember the Babysitter Club author, and I've read loads of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't remember the authors at all. So, yeah, I don't know. What about? Okay, well, I guess I better tell you though. So I loved 6 of Crows.
Okay,
and
nice.
I'm not allowed to read Crooked Kingdom until I go back and reread Shadow and Bone. Like, I'm not allowing myself to move on to the sequel of 6 of Crows until I have actually read the first 3 books in the Grishaverse. Because I didn't realize.
Wait, so the one you've read is like a sequel thing?
It's a separate series, but it's within the same the whole Grishaverse, Leigh Bardugo's
Okay,
Grishaverse.
yeah.
And this is the very first book she ever wrote. And so there's 3 books in this series, and then in the grand scheme of things, the Grishaverse, then comes Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom, then Kingdom of Scars or King of Scars or whatever they are. So like this is its own separate series, but it's her first book. And so I like to read things in order because I'm weird like that. And so I wanted to, before I continued on with the second book in Six of Crows, which is Crooked Kingdom, I wanted to start this series and read this series.
Cool. Nice.
But I loved Six of Crows, 5 stars. One of my favorite books. It was my favorite book, I think, in 2020. And so that kind of counts, right?
It counts. I would have said Erin Morgenstern was one of my favorite authors when I'd only read The Starless Sea. And it was only when I read The Night Circus where I was like, maybe she's not, because I didn't love that as much. I did like it, but I just didn't love it as much. But The Starless Sea, I loved so much that I couldn't, I was like, she has to be a favorite author because I just loved it. I was sucked into that book. Yeah. So that's the thing, when it's such a high 5-star read, it kind of, even if you don't like the other books as much, I still feel like it is like a favorite author because the book is so like favorite, you know?
I agree. I think my problem is that I'm not very good about like, I'm not very good if I like an author or I like a book, I'm not great about going and reading all the rest of that author's books right away. I'll want to, and I know I want to read more of their books, but I'm not fantastic about continuing on. So
yeah.
Does that make? And then like Robin Hobb, I've already read her first. So
have you? Are you sure?
It was or unless was it? Oh, you picked. Oh yes, I forgot. You picked up one of her. Was that her first book as her pseudonym?
Yeah. So that was the first book, like before Robin Hobb came along. She was Megan Lindholm.
Oh, I didn't know that was before.
That's before, yeah. So yeah, I'm like, I'll take that. I'm just gonna go through the comments quickly because I think I've okay. Every reader is different. Teen books don't come looking till. Yeah. That's a good point. I bought her a board book in the end because I was looking at the picture books. I was like, she's just gonna rip this to shreds.
Yeah. Main character. Yes, that's a horror book. Yeah, and I like it's supposed to be a pretty freaky horror book. Durable is great for 1-year-olds. Nice and short, so it can hold more attention.
Yeah, when they're just learning to speak, it's just about the words, isn't it? Like.
Attention.
Yeah.
I get the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse for my 2-year-old family member. Got to teach those lessons.
I really want to read that, actually.
It's pretty popular.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I want to get my mum it. I think she'd like it. Anne M. Martin. You know them all. Yes. You're a teacher as well, though, aren't you, Amy?
Very good, Amy. She is. Yeah, she is. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy.
I've haven't read that one yet. Yeah. I need to get to some Leigh Bardugo. Fable is TJ Clean, Talia Hibbert, and Madeline Miller. Madeline Miller's so good.
So I can't say. I've only read House on Cerulean Sea. Like, so it's another case where I did love House on Cerulean Sea, but haven't read anything else. So it's like, how do you determine that that's your favorite author then?
See, that's the thing, because I loved Song of Achilles was my favorite book from last year. I loved so I'm reading Circe this month actually. I decided to read that, so I'm really hoping that. But it's just so much love for that book that I feel like Madeline Miller could be a favorite author for sure. Sean Maguire, Joss Manman, Essay Chakraborty. Oh yes, I so want to get to those books.
Stephen King. So I did think about that because I do love Stephen King, and Carrie is his first book, which I've already read, and I loved Carrie. So like, that didn't work for me.
You've done that already. TJ Clean. I haven't read any TJ Clean stuff yet. Stephanie Meyer. That's the thing, you could reread, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point, huh? I didn't think about that.
So when I was younger, if anyone would have asked me throughout my whole 20s, if someone would have asked me, I would have always said Irvine Welsh, who wrote Trainspotting, That was like the first person that I would say. I
Really?
can't read Irving. Yeah, because when I was 18, I read Trainspotting, and then I think I read like kind of between 6 to 8 books in a row. Like I read all his books in order, and I just loved them. But then as I got older, I tried to read the next ones, and I was disturbed. I think when you're like so hardened when you're young, you just take it all in. You're not bothered. And then when I was older, I was like, this is horrific. Like I can't read about this stuff. I feel sick. So yeah, I can't say he's my favorite author anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Have you read any Irving Welsh?
No, and I didn't know anything about. Honestly, I had seen like the commercials and stuff for the movies, but I had never seen any of those style movies until I think I recently watched Trainspotting, and it was so good. I was like, I wasn't expecting to like it. It didn't seem like the kind of thing that I would like, but then I watched it and I was like, holy crap, this was really good.
Yeah. He knows how to write hard stuff. He knows how to write hard stuff. I think, the thing is, actually, I don't know how he would stand up by today's standards of writing, because I can't remember how he spoke about things. I just remember vague storylines.
Okay. So it just, you don't remember like specifics about it?
Well, not really. My favorite one was the Marabou Stalk Nightmares, which is a story about a guy who's in a coma, and he like played around with the way text was on the page. And so you had like his dream world where he was in this dream world with this Marabou Stalk. That's why it's called Marabou Stalk Nightmares. And then you had like flashbacks to his past, and then you had people coming to talk to him as well. And that was really good. I really want to do a reread of that because I remember absolutely loving that. But I remember it being terrifying as well. So I don't know if anyone else has read any Irving Welsh. Oh no, I've just seen. But I can't remember much. My brain is like, as I say, like, oh yeah. Tamara Pierce. Tamara Pierce? I don't know who that is actually.
I've heard the name. I don't. Was it Trainspotting that I saw, or was it another? Am I mixing things up? I know. I'm pretty sure it was Trainspotting, the movie that I saw.
I think that is the big film. I haven't watched with what's his name in it? No, I've forgotten everything. Trainspotting makes me feel sick. I can't remember the scene with the baby. I remember the toilet scene from Trainspotting. That's the one I remember the most.
No, it wasn't Trainspotting.
No.
I'm thinking of what am I thinking of?
Oh, you're not thinking of Trainspotting?
I guess not.
Ewan McGregor, that's it. Ewan McGregor's in Trainspotting.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. What am I thinking of then? It's another one that had that same like visual feel to it, though. I don't remember. Oh, well, it's okay. I guess I need to go watch Trainspotting now.
Yeah.
Because I'm a liar.
Because I'm a liar. But anyway, that's not my favorite author anymore. So Robin Hobb has to be my favorite author at the moment. I'm not saying it's not going to change, but at the moment. So she also writes under the name Megan Lindholm. And Assassin's Apprentice, which is the first book she wrote as Robin Hobb, came out in the 90s. But Harpy's Flight is her first book as Megan Lindholm, and I think it was the 80s. I'm just going to Google it, actually. So, yeah, I'm really intrigued to read this because I just don't know what to expect. Like, because she's written under a different name, I feel like it's going to be totally different to Robin Hobb, because otherwise, why would you call yourself a different name,
Yeah, I'm curious how different.
How different it is. So let's have a look on and see when it came out. Oh gosh, looking on websites is never quick, is it? When you're like, when you know people are waiting for you, it always takes ages. 1983, the year before I was born.
Was
that the year you were born? Yeah, the year you were born. There you go. She wrote her first novel. It was a good year. It was a good year.
It was a good year. Yes.
So I haven't found out anything about it. I'm just going to read it in a sec and see what's going on. Half a second. So yeah. So, and we're just kind of going through some books that we picked for Roll of Reads Readathon TBR. So we're on our last book now. It's going to be our last reading sprints where we're trying the first part of, well, I'm going to read Harpy's Flight by Megan Lindholm, and Amy's got Shadow and Bone by Lee Bardugo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what are you reading?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Snatch.
It's probably Snatch that I'm thinking of. That's the one with Brad Pitt. I do remember that. Yeah. Being Scottish. Okay.
It's good that I remember them being good. I do remember them being very good. Hello.
Welcome back.
I hope your mom's good. Hugo. Hello, Hugo. How are you? Robin Hood is Queen. Yes. Inheritance Anthology. I've got that actually. I have got that. I haven't read anything from it yet, though.
Did you read any of them yet? Because one of them I gave 5 stars. One of the so like part of the series, you know how like they have some that are supposed to be part of. We've been reading the whole Robin Hood series, and then some of them, you know, they tell you to read them at certain times. And we read one of them. I can't remember which one at this point, but one of them I gave 5 stars. It was really good, or at least close to 5 stars. Shell might remember.
Yeah, I need to get to the short stories, but I just feel like I'm going to wait till I've finished the whole series now and then just go and read them. Because I'm a bit lost in what's going on. The Silent Woods by Kimmy Cunningham Grant. Okay, cool.
That
good
sounds
name,
like kind
Kimmy,
of like a horror.
Name. It does sound like a horror.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fine a bit. Yeah. Yeah, same. I'm a bit sleepy too. Are you reading anything, Hugo?
Oh yes, the coin one. Yes.
Oh wait, yes, I remember when you read this because this is the one I can't get in England.
You don't have the. I thought you said you have the book, The Inheritance, or what is it?
It's not. Isn't the coin one not in the book, The Inheritance? Is it in that binder? Oh, maybe I'm thinking of a different. There's one that I can't get hold of for some reason.
Words Like Coins. That's it.
Words Like Coins. Yeah. Read the girl who fell beneath the sea.
I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Right, well, happy reading, everyone. We've got our last sprint coming up now for 20 mins. So I
hope it's the best sprint for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, no. Why do I always do that? Show the wrong thing. Okay, so we're going to read until 20.
I wonder how long this chapter is.
Oh, yeah. Happy reading. Hello. Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I think, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Good. I didn't make it through the first chapter because it didn't, like, it had a little prologue before the first chapter started.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't make it through either. I didn't know. You know Robin Hobb, her chapters are like long.
Yeah.
They ain't short. So what did you think?
So far good. Like, easy read, as YA fantasies tend to be a lot, pretty easy to read usually. And, I'm interested. I'm definitely sucked in right away, or like grabbed in right away. Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Yeah. That's good. I mean, that's the thing. We both know that we're going to like these books, isn't it? Because we know the authors. So this is, I'll show you the book. This is the cover, which looks very Robin Hobb-esque.
Yeah, so I'm curious, does it feel like Robin Hobb's writing style?
I'm already really sucked into it. All it is this woman at the moment climbing up a rock face. That's it. She's on a mission. She's going somewhere. She started at the bottom, furious as she started climbing. And it's her struggling to get up this like shell, like rock face that's really smooth and trying to. It's just, yeah, it's really engaging. But I would say, because I don't know anything about writing, but I always feel like Robin Hobb's writing is very sophisticated, like, and intricate. And I feel like this maybe feels a little bit less, which makes sense because it's her first book, right? So it's a little bit less sophisticated, I guess.
Yeah, okay. I can see what you mean.
Yeah. But it's still intriguing. It sucks me in. Like, I felt like that was one of the books where I kind of forgot I was on a reading sprint because I was like into what was going on. Yeah. And I stopped reading 2 minutes before the end because I was like, I can't keep reading because I'm going to forget. I'm going to forget I have to come back on because it just got interesting, the bit that I left it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah. It's Hobb. She's great. Lindholm, whatever she wants to be called.
I'm definitely excited about Ship of Destiny, but I'm also kind of nervous. I hope it's amazing. Well, you've read all three of those. Which one was your favorite? I'm curious, of the Life Defenders.
I honestly cannot remember now. I cannot. It's all a blur. They all mix together. I think the last one, because everything
comes together.
Yeah, I think I love that whole trilogy. I thought it was excellent. When are you guys doing your live show for it?
I don't know. We're gonna have to figure that out. I just don't know when. Like, I don't know if we're gonna do a live show because
no, not live. The Zoom.
The discussion. I'd like to maybe try and do it. I don't know, because next Friday is the live show for City of Bones, and then like the next 2 weeks or like after that are my finals. So, but we'll probably I'll see if we can do it maybe next weekend if things aren't too crazy, and then I can edit it and get it up, and hopefully get it up within the beginning of February at some point. I'm so behind on videos right now.
Amy, you're literally at school, so it's all good. I know what that's like. I remember it well.
Okay.
Shell doesn't think it's in the inheritance. Yeah, I don't think I can get it.
Okay, so I'm probably wrong then.
Where are you, Leanna? Are you in England or? Yeah, I think. Yeah, where's that Collins? I really want to read it because you said it was so good.
Yeah. It's not the anthology. I got it as an ebook as well. Okay. I don't know why I thought it was in that one. I just thought that had everything, which it should. It should have that one especially because it pertains to that series.
Oh, yeah. I really want to read it. I want to read them all. Nice. Ate dinner. Good
Great
stuff.
job. 8 pages. Awesome. Awesome. Put it on page 255, so only 8 pages.
Oh, nice. So close to the end.
And the story must be interesting enough at this point.
Finish supplemental info at the end of the
Oh, perfect. Oh, cool.
I love all that stuff, like all the extra, like actually what's going on and all the explaining stuff. Did it add to it? Did you enjoy it? US, yeah. See, I just think it's annoying when they do this with books. Why? Just let everyone have them.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't know why that one wasn't included in the bind up anyways, because it had a lot of the other books that are for the Realm of the Elderling series. And that was the best one. That the Words Like Queens was the best one of the short stories I've read so far of Robert Holmes.
Yeah. You read The Prince and the Piebald Prince, right? Yeah, you read that one.
Yeah, and it was good. It was probably like 3.5 or something that for me. I liked it, but the characters were really hard to like in that one.
Yeah, they weren't great.
It's useful for the series. I feel like it's useful. Like I got a lot of insight for the series. You know what I
mean? Yeah, definitely. I just can't speak to you about that series because I'm too far ahead. I know.
Yeah, so you're starting to like the Dragons one finally, huh?
Yeah, finally. I mean, I think that it's the layout of those books, like the way they've been split. I feel like the third book was really short. It was like 400 pages, which is short for Robin Hobb. And I feel like that could have been expanded on, merged with the first two books and split differently. That's how I, in my very unprofessional opinion, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. So poor publishing choices made by.
And Becca from Becca in the Books, who runs the Elderling Along, they were all saying they thought it was the publisher thought why it didn't really flow very well.
Okay, that's a bummer.
I thought it was interesting. Process.
Oh, this is about
journey. That's cool. That's really cool. These really people are just so talented that can do all this stuff. Like, I haven't read a graphic novel before, and the only comics I've read are like the Beano when I was a kid. But I think for your viewer prompt, Amy, I'm going to read Wires and Nerve.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll be curious to hear how you think, because some people were not as crazy about it because of, especially after reading that whole series, you have in your mind what you think these characters are going to be. And if the art style is not what you were picturing, it's difficult. And that took me a little time to get into the graphic novel, but I did really enjoy it. It took me a little time to get into it because it wasn't what I imagined for these characters. But after a while, my brain accepted that. And then the second one, I gave 5 stars. Like, I really liked the second graphic novel a lot. So
when you're into it.
But yeah, I thought it was really good.
Because if no one knows what's it called? Wires and Nerve is like a graphic novel story following on from the Lunar Chronicles. Yes. So the books that Amy has, that's how I pictured the characters, like the characters on the front of your books that you had. Yeah.
The newer version of they don't look anything like that.
No, exactly. Yeah. So I can imagine it being very jarring.
But yeah, it's good that you're reading those before you read Stars Above.
Oh, really? Is that a good order to read them in?
Only because I've heard that the last story in Stars Above, which I haven't read yet because I need to do the last 2 stories now. The last story, which is like the final story, is actually later after the stuff that happens in Wires and Nerve.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, so read that first. Well done, that's awesome. You read so much of your book. I'm really impressed.
Like at least 25% or so.
Yeah, because we only really did like not very long sprints in this whole time.
Yeah,
an hour
80
20
minutes.
Yeah. So which book has won?
Oh, no. you go first. You go first. I don't know. Oh my God.
I've narrowed it down to 4. So halved it. Selfish Gene, I'm intrigued, but it's a bit long, so maybe it's dense. I'm already reading a non-fiction this month, so maybe that's a bad idea. Dawn, this is short enough to read.
And you really want to read that one?
Yeah, I recently bought this, so this is like I want to read it basically. Harpy's Flight is the other one that's up there, and Tiffany Sly Lives Here Now. I thought, okay, Tiffany Sly Lives Here Now. That's like seems like a fun audiobook. So I can probably save that for another month when I can like, I know it's like fun, it will be quick. And by saying it's fun, I think it's going to be sad, but it was like I think it's a YA, it'll be a nice, quick kind of read. Harpies, Flight, or Dawn? Maybe both. I'm going with both. I'm going to read both. I'm going to try to read both.
Wow. Okay. How long is Harpies Flight?
I think it's like 200 and something pages.
Okay. That's not bad at all.
And Dawn is, I always get scared. 304. So that's not so, that's like one long book together.
Okay.
Yeah. So how about you?
I don't know. This is terrible. Why would we do something like this? Thanks, Kim.
You're welcome.
Well, an early contender was Enter the Aardvark, just because Mom hated it, so I'm very curious to see if I'll like it, because I tend to, have strange taste. And that first little section was intriguing, and it's small. Yes. So that is a positive, because March is going to be a very busy month for me. Then I was really curious about Never Let Me Go, and that first chapter was very intriguing, and it reads easy to me. This reads easy, so like that, and it's small. So that is,
and it's a classic. It's a classic book.
It's a classic, and it's sci-fi, which I've been wanting to read some sci-fi. Then there's the really super fun sci-fi, which I think, even though this is longer, I think this will read fast, because it's one of those books where you can easily just it's just a fun, not too much depth probably, but like really fun, like easily consumable kind of book, and then I really want to read Shadow and Bone. Like I do. And this is YA, so it's got big lettering and it reads fast too. Yeah.
You can only have, I had two, so you can't only have one.
I didn't choose next month.
Yeah, same.
I don't know. I mean, I liked the other ones. I definitely am going to be reading The Vanishing Half, Anne of Green Gables, Kiss Quotient. But I think that based off our try a chapter concept, these are the ones that were most exciting to me in that first chapter. So, oh dear. I think the one that intrigues me the most is probably Never Let Me Go.
Okay, cool.
And I like the size of it.
Yeah.
And I want to see if I think this is one that intrigues me the most. I want to find out what happens next with this one, because I still don't know what their deal is. Like, what's the deal with these people? So I think I'm going to go with this, because I think it's very doable. It's a good size for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I hope you like it. Good choice. You can read The Aardvark another time. It's all good.
I know. I own that one. And I will read this one probably this year. And I probably will read this one at some point this year. So,
Yeah. This was fun. It was good. I enjoyed it.
This was really fun. Thank you so much, Kim. Oh my gosh, what a great idea. Clever.
No, it was good. There was slightly too many books on the list, but it was good to do. I'm definitely tired now. It's 11:30. I'm ready for bed. Yeah. I'm pleased I'm trying to get as many books read before the month.
You can do it. You can do it. You're almost there. Yeah, this was fantastic, and it was a fun way to just try, and I'll do something else like this again in the future. Just try a chapter, especially for some of the books that I'm not really that interested in reading on my shelves, like the ones that are really old and that I would rather unhaul them.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's an even harder choice though, because that's so final. Like these books were like, we've still got them, we can read them again sometime, whereas unhauling is so difficult to decide.
It is. And, I don't know if I still don't know where I stand on that, unhauling books that I haven't read yet, because I tend to think like, if I have it, I should read it, or at least give it a chance. But
like you were saying, you've got loads of nonfiction on your shelf that you're like, I'm not going to read. And I feel the same. I've got a lot of like popular science books. When I first started my science degree, I bought loads. And then now I'm like, well, they're all out of date science now, isn't it?
Yeah. Or like, just like you said, or like books that you just pick up because you're like, oh, that sounds interesting. But then when you see it was written like in the 80s,
it makes you
maybe we need to do something else like this again and do it with nonfiction books.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I don't know how I read nonfiction so slowly. I'll be like, well, this one page said this to me.
30-minute sprints for that one and only pick a few books.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Natalie.
Thank you,
and
Natalie.
Good luck with your paper.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it.
You can. Yay! Thank you for being here.
Thank you for coming.
Thank
you,
you,
Stacey.
Yeah.
This was fun.
I love your picture. They're so cute, those dogs.
They're super cute.
Cute. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming.
It was wonderful. Thank you.
Yay, thank you.
Good. I'm glad that worked for you.
Yeah, 20 minutes is like a nice kind of power read time. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. I really appreciate it. It's been so much fun. And yeah, well, if you're joining in with Roll of Reads as well, then I hope everyone's has a good Roll of Reads. And I'm not going to get many extra points for my books, but that's fine. It's all good.
I've got one for Roll of Reads, so
yeah.
Oh, well.
Night, Jean.
Good night, Jean.
Thanks, Anne-Marie.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.
Cool. So, Amy, thank you. All right, I'll see everybody soon, hopefully.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you for hosting this and this coming up with this amazing idea of, of how we could actually work in the Roll of Reads. That is awesome.
Yeah, I didn't want to give it up. I was like, I'm not playing this game. So, all right, happy reading, everyone. See you later.